All right, good morning, class. My name is Anthony Portuesi, part of AMU, American Public University System. This presentation will be for the Capstone Proposal Oral Defense, EVSP601, and it will be in regards to managing oceanic environments, an effective approach to proving leadership in the evolving areas of environmental concern. All right, so for the topic selection here, what are the most effective leadership management strategies to manage oceanic environments? So to address this question, there are separate things that need to happen in order for this process to all meld together. The main areas of interest for this project will evaluate past, present, and future management strategies for global waters, and which have historically been most effective in those certain situations. This project also aims to conduct a cost-benefit analysis, or CBA, along with a deliberate risk assessment in order to grasp the most effective management strategies to combat evolving environmental issues and problems, specifically for the ocean. This project will be meaningful because it will highlight how stakeholders, decision makers, and policy makers can better arm themselves with the tools or the information necessary to implement policy and management strategies that can be used effectively and efficiently. And if all this is done succinctly and concurrently, this project just might provide lasting recommendations that can improve the overall process of environmental management for oceans. So for the project description here, basically what I did for here was to break down what the project actually needs. And on the slide here, you could see some of the issues that I need to address in order for this project to be successful. So this capstone will assess and illuminate the most effective leadership management strategies to manage oceanic environments, specifically concerning overfishing and energy expenditure. This project will also address waste management because that is one of the facing issues that our oceans currently have. This project will provide a detailed CBA with a succinct and concurrent risk assessment in order to highlight areas of concern that need further attention to solve complex environmental problems. While there may be many environmental management strategies and policy that can work, this project will attempt to not only collate this material, but assess and develop true effectiveness of leadership management strategies that can then be further implemented into the iterative process. I will attempt to provide accounts of experts that currently work in the field of environmental management and policy in order to correlate operative strategies for speedy and effective results. In order to do this, I'll need to consult the Institutional Review Board and conduct city human training in order to gather that data necessary for the project's success. Ultimately, true leadership that is able to build relationships with stakeholders based on trust, clear and concise guidance, and proper procedures with the relevant and efficient collaboration, then this project will be able to make efficient and effective strides toward lasting positive results for the betterment of oceanic environments. Next here are the resources needed. So for this capstone project, I will need to consult the university library heavily in order to gather the necessary research to back up clear and concise recommendations for the ending conclusions of the capstone project proposal. These resources from the library will need to come from effective sources, scholarly sources that have been thoroughly vetted and peer-reviewed, and will be able to provide the necessary foundation for future follow-on research. The next part that I'll also need, that I mentioned previously, will be pertinent information from professionals that work in the field. And in order to do so, I'll need to consult the IRB and get their approval, along with completing the necessary city human subjects training. Next, the next resource that I'll need to use is conceptually validated leadership management strategies. What is meant by this is leadership strategies that have been tried and true and have worked effectively in the field of environmental management and other fields will need to be consulted and used in this management plan that results from this process. The engagement that I will get from stakeholders will need to include these necessary agencies, and this is not a definite list. I'll definitely need to include more. However, the most pertinent that I've seen so far that I'll need to include in this project will be the NOAA Corps, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and other governmental agencies such as the Environmental Protection Agency, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, etc. I'll also need to consult non-governmental agencies to include Sea Shepherd, Habitat for Humanity, and others. And lastly, all of these decisions need to have been thoroughly vetted using a cost-benefit analysis, not only in the past research, but in the research that I'll conduct for this project as well. The research provided here will inform the results and conclusions of this project and will allow research projects relevant to the field to manifest in the future. For the background here, for this project, the literature review that I conducted aimed at providing recommendations for the improvements of conservation efforts. Most of the information that I consulted was in regards to those areas. A lot of the times in research like this, teams and similar organizations are not able to collaborate for various reasons until the final stages of the planning for the project and implementation. Teams that are cross-functional and self-managed will be able to solve complex problems in the ocean and other environments as well. So that you see the different types of teams here that I'll need to not only further research, but also implement into this management plan. In order to promote efforts that work in all areas, we need to optimize environmental performance organizations that need to migrate to renewable energy, improved energy efficiency, properly recycled waste material, and effectively implemented measures for intensive operations, especially for the ocean. Not only this, but ocean policy demonstrates an opportunity for nations to improve globally on their efforts to promote proper management of these critical environmental arenas. Secondly, for the background here, organizations globally are realizing that their stakeholders and other relevant parties have become accustomed to green infrastructure and other environmental management related policy. So, in order to appeal to interested stakeholders and investors, we will need to increase the renewable energy globally, improve energy efficiency, and modify ocean policy. Specifically, with more effort devoted to modifying the policy. Because with policy changes comes lasting change. And in order to do this, at the very core of each organization, they need to have environmental considerations placed into there. And that will lead to them staying true to their established mission, vision, and values for those said organizations, whether they are for-profit or non-profit organizations. So this spirit of a relentless effort to constantly improve the leadership framework and decision-making tools will be necessary for successful management of oceanic ecosystems. The project end results will include proposals for environmental policy changes, effective and efficient management plan for the ocean, successfully managed implementation in a timely manner, and professionals that are armed with the necessary information to solve these complex problems. But lastly, what we need here is leadership. If we have leadership at its core, then we will be able to accomplish the goals that are set forth in ocean policy and other decisions that are to be made. This will be my preliminary action plan. The first steps are being conducted now. I constructed this as if I was going to start the Capstone project in June. So the steps 1 through 3 have already been completed. Steps 4, 5, and 6 will still need to be conducted, and those will need to be the most important steps in this process, or I'll need to devote the most time to, because without the IRB and city approval, this project will not work. 6, 7, and 8, engagement of the stakeholders will need to be thoroughly vetted and provide clear and concise recommendations in order to propose those policy changes, revise the project with the guidance from faculty members and other university officials. And lastly, I'll be able to make those final project corrections and submit the project for review and for grading. And at this stage, I will have effectively drafted a management and implementation plan for oceanic systems that use effective leadership strategies. And these are my references. Thank you, class, for your time, and I look forward to your feedback.